Hey, Dr. Wood coming at you with author of the book Miracles in Minutes. And today I'm going to cover a little excerpt from the book, or my three basic rules. We all have great intentions trying to help people, but we all know the statement of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So the first rule that I have is an attempt to help yourself or help a patient or help anyone in your life. Let's make sure we don't mess them up. It's also the doctor's oath. Above all else, do no harm. So how do we get around that? Well, we have a couple big things. As humans, we have an emotional bias. And a bias means it's kind of like an error in thinking. So we get so excited in our emotions that we feel like we're helping someone. The question is, are we? So we need to deal with reality. And the best way to deal with that is to set a baseline. So I recommend in the book to use Gray Cook's FMS, Functional Movement Screen. So there's 7 basic movements. When someone has pain, what they're really coming to see us for, or if you have pain, is you can't move. So I keep it real simple in the book. Let's look at life and let's look at death. So puppies and babies move a lot. They have a lot of life. And people in the graveyard don't move at all. So we know where they are. They're dead. At least we hope so. We also become concerned, all of us as humans, innately and intuitively know that when our mother or father is slowing down, there's a problem. We can also recognize when they're walking funny or someone's walking funny in the mall or anywhere that they have a problem. So movement very quickly determines how well someone's health is, how well they're functioning as a human being, how well they're going to be able to do their job and do well in life. So the FMS will get you there of being honest with yourself. I also shot 2 videos called The Observer and The Observer Part 2. This will help you as the person who's observing the doctor, the patient, or the hardest thing of all is observing ourselves, to be honest with what's going on. In other words, you have to remove the emotions from the room, from your own head. Because if we get too high emotionally or too low, it clouds reality and we miss what's really going on. We go by how we feel versus what's happening. So a lot of patients and even doctors make a mistake, and even personal trainers make a mistake about how they feel. The problem with feeling good doesn't equate to better health. What do I mean? A lot of things can make us feel good. Heroin makes people feel good. Alcohol makes people feel good. Cookies makes some people feel good. That's the problem with feeling good. It doesn't necessarily mean good for you, but that instant gratification, that dopamine response, that serotonin response in the brain, we then weigh our conclusion that it must be good since I feel good. However, movement doesn't lie. You either can squat or you cannot squat. You either can touch your toes or you cannot, even if you are feeling good from a drug or something else. So that's why I like to use the FMS. It kind of keeps us connected to reality. Rule number 2, or Dr. Wood's 3 commandments, is to trust your innate. Innate, the best way you might call it your gut. Remember when you're in school and a teacher asked a question and you knew the answer and you second-guessed yourself? So we do that, and a lot of times we want to kick ourselves in the butt because we didn't trust ourselves when we should have. So trust your instincts, trust innate. It's kind of a mystical, metaphorical area. It's kind of hard to get into explaining that, but you ever had that sense of knowing what you should do? Go for it. That's what you should be doing. So trust your instincts. It feels like, try an exercise or a stretch that it feels like your intuition's telling you to do that. Try it out and then test it against your baseline of a toe touch or something, the FMS screen. It either got better or it didn't. Or actually there's or no change. So the only thing we work on here is going for improvement, getting you closer to the goal that you have set for yourself. The third commandment is always use great form and technique. So the statement goes, practice makes perfect. It's not actually accurate. Deliberate practice makes perfect. In other words, you need to be focused on what you're doing. I've laid the exercise out a certain way in the book of how you should be doing them. Do the best to execute it the way I have said in the book. If I didn't do a great job articulating, I'll take the responsibility for that. So Those are the three big rules or three commandments that I have in my book to start a framework of helping yourself or helping someone else move forward. Number one, remove the emotional biases. In other words, help someone but don't mess them up. So if the pain's going up when they're starting to exercise, cut it off immediately. Shut it down. So it's a way to minimize the risk. We need to do something to get you moving in the right direction. We now need to minimize that risk. Try something. It's either getting better, no change, or getting worse. And the Miracles Minutes principle, when you hit the nail on the head, you're going to see change happen pretty fast. They'll go from a 10 to an 8, or some people go from a 10 to a 5 like in seconds. It's that fast. Because that's the way neurology works. When you see immediately. When you hear immediately. And when you do the right stretch or exercise that I prescribe or I recommend in the book, or you try on your own using this modem that I've laid out, you'll see those miracles happen for yourself and your patients too, or in personal training. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.